Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A particular point in the time of a cycle, measured from some arbitrary zero and expressed as an angle. Any distinct time period in a sequence of events. Physical chemistry, a distinct state of matter in a system. Matter that is identical in chemical composition and physical state and separated from other material by the phase boundary. The reaction occurs in the liquid phase of the system. Adjust so as to be in a synchronized condition. He phased the intake with the output of the machine. Arrange in phases or stages. Phase a withdrawal. Astronomy, the particular appearance of a body's state of illumination, especially one of the recurring shapes of the part of Earth's moon that is illuminated by the sun. The full phase of the moon. A particular point in the time of a cycle, measured from some arbitrary zero and expressed as an angle. Plan, organize, and carry out an event. The neighboring tribe staged an invasion. Perform, a play, especially on a stage. We are going to stage Othello. A specific identifiable position in a continuum or series or especially in a process. At what stage are the social sciences? Any distinct time period in a sequence of events. We are in a transitional stage in which many former ideas must be revised or rejected. A small platform on a microscope where the specimen is mounted for examination. A section or portion of a journey or course. Then we embarked on the second stage of our Caribbean cruise. A large coach and four formerly used to carry passengers and mail on regular routes between towns. We went out of town together by stage about 10 or 12 miles. A large platform on which people can stand and can be seen by an audience. He clambered up onto the stage and got the actors to help him into the box. Any scene regarded as a setting for exhibiting or doing something. All the world's a stage. The theater as a profession, usually the stage. An early movie simply showed a long kiss by two actors of the contemporary stage. The visual appearance of something or someone. A perceptual structure. The composition presents problems for students of musical form. The phonological or orthographic sound or appearance of a word that can be used to describe or identify something. The inflected forms of a word can be represented by a stem in a list of inflections to be attached. Make something, usually for a specific function. Any spatial attributes, especially as defined by outline. Establish or impress firmly in the mind. A body of students who are taught together. Create, as an entity. Social groups form everywhere. Biology. A group of organisms within a species that differ in trivial ways from similar groups. A category of things distinguished by some common characteristic or quality. Sculpture as a form of art. A life-size dummy used to display clothes. Develop into a distinctive entity. Alternative names for the body of a human being. The spatial arrangement of something is distinct from its substance. To compose or represent. This wall forms the background of the stage setting. Give shape or form to. Form the young child's character. Physical chemistry, a distinct state of matter in a system. matter that is identical in chemical composition and physical state and separated from other material by the phase boundary. A mold for setting concrete. They built elaborate forms for pouring the foundation. An ability to perform well. He was at the top of his form. An arrangement of the elements in a composition or discourse. The essay was in the form of a dialogue. A particular mode in which something is manifested. His resentment took the form of extreme hostility. A printed document with spaces in which to write. He filled out his tax form. Assume a form or shape. The water formed little beads. An instant of time. Be oriented. The weather vane points north. Sail close to the wind. Repair the joints of bricks. Point a chimney. Any of 32 horizontal directions indicated on the card of a compass. He checked the point on his compass. Be a signal for or a symptom of. Her behavior points to a severe neurosis. A specific identifiable position in a continuum or series or especially in a process. A distinct part that can be specified separately in a group of things that could be enumerated on a list. The main point on the agenda was taken up first. An outstanding characteristic. His acting was one of the high points of the movie. A V shape. The cannibal's teeth were filed to sharp points. A contact in the distributor. As the rotor turns, its projecting arm contacts them and current flows to the spark plugs. The dot at the left of a decimal fraction. Direct into a position for use. Point a gun. Indicate a place, direction, person, or thing, either spatially or figuratively. He pointed to the empty parking space. The property of a shape that tapers to a sharp tip. The gun muzzle's direction. He held me up at the point of a gun. A V-shaped mark at one end of an arrow pointer. The point of the arrow was due north. An isolated fact that is considered separately from the whole. A point of information. A wall socket. An instant of time. At that point I had to leave. A very small circular shape. A row of points. Direct the course. Determine the direction of traveling. Give a point to. Intend something, to move towards a certain goal. A punctuation mark, placed at the end of a declarative sentence to indicate a full stop or after abbreviations. A brief version of the essential meaning of something. Get to the point. A distinguishing or individuating characteristic. He knows my bad points as well as my good points. A geometric element that has position but no extension. A point is defined by its coordinates. A linear unit used to measure the size of type, approximately 1/72 inch. A promontory extending out into a large body of water. They sailed south around the point. A style in speech or writing that arrests attention and has a penetrating or convincing quality or effect. Be positionable in a specified manner. The gun points with ease. Indicate the presence of game by standing and pointing with the muzzle. The dog pointed the dead duck. Mark, a psalm text, to indicate the points at which the music changes. Mark, Hebrew words, with diacritics. Mark with diacritics. Point the letter. 1% of the total principal of a loan. It is paid at the time the loan is made and is independent of the interest on the loan. Sharp end. He stuck the point of the knife into a tree. The object of an activity. What is the point of discussing it? The precise location of something, a spatially limited location. She walked to a point where she could survey the whole street. The unit of counting in scoring a game or contest. He scored 20 points in the first half. An amount of time. A time period of 30 years. An amount of time. Hastened the period of time of his recovery. An amount of time. A time period of 30 years. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. A unit of geological time during which a system of rocks formed. Ganoid fishes swarmed during the earlier geological periods. A punctuation mark, placed at the end of a declarative sentence to indicate a full stop or after abbreviations. In England they call a period a stop. Ice hockey, one of 3 divisions into which play is divided in hockey games. The end or completion of something. Death put a period to his endeavors. The interval taken to complete one cycle of a regularly repeating phenomenon. Indicate through a symbol, formula, etc. The territory occupied by a nation. A politically organized body of people under a single government. The state has elected a new president. Chemistry. The 3 traditional states of matter are solids, fixed shape and volume, and liquids, fixed volume and shaped by the container, and gases, filling the container. The solid state of water is called ice. The territory occupied by one of the constituent administrative districts of a nation. His state is in the deep south. Put before. The federal department in the United States that sets and maintains foreign policies. Express in words. State your opinion. A state of depression or agitation. He was in such a state you just couldn't reason with him. The group of people comprising the government of a sovereign state. The state has lowered its income tax. The way something is with respect to its main attributes. The current state of knowledge. Chemistry. The 3 traditional states of matter are solids, fixed shape and volume, and liquids, fixed volume and shaped by the container, and gases, filling the container. Cause to indicate the same time or rate. Arrange or represent events so that they co-occur. Operate simultaneously. Make, motion picture sound, exactly simultaneous with the action. Happen at the same time. Make synchronous and adjust in time or manner. Cause to indicate the same time or rate. Synchronize your watches. Arrange or represent events so that they co-occur. Synchronize biblical events. Operate simultaneously. The clocks synchronize. Make, motion picture sound, exactly simultaneous with the action. Synchronize this film. happen at the same time. Make synchronous and adjust in time or manner. Let's synchronize our efforts. Make synchronous and adjust in time or manner. Let's synchronize our efforts. Plan, organize, and carry out an event. Put into a proper or systematic order. Arrange the books on the shelves in chronological order. Set printed matter into a specific format. Arrange thoughts, ideas, temporal events. Arrange my schedule. Adapt for performance in a different way. Arrange attractively. Make arrangements for. Can you arrange a meeting with the president? Pretending that something is the case in order to make a good impression. They try to keep up appearances. Formal attendance, in court or at a hearing, of a party in an action. Outward or visible aspect of a person or thing. A mental representation. I tried to describe his appearance to the police. The act of appearing in public view. The rookie made a brief appearance in the first period. The event of coming into sight. Outward or visible aspect of a person or thing. The fourth stage of the prophase of meiosis. The second stage of the prophase of meiosis. Any time of new development. The time during which seeds should be planted. The second half of the menstrual cycle after ovulation. The corpus luteum secretes progesterone which prepares the endometrium for the implantation of an embryo. If fertilization does not occur, then menstrual flow begins. The time in the menstrual cycle when fertilization is most likely to be possible, 7 days before to 7 days after ovulation. The time in the menstrual cycle when fertilization is most likely to be possible, 7 days before to 7 days after ovulation. A coming into being. The act of producing offspring or multiplying by such production. All the people living at the same time or of approximately the same age. A stage of technological development or innovation. The third generation of computers. Group of genetically related organisms constituting a single step in the line of descent. The normal time between successive generations. They had to wait a generation for that prejudice to fade. The production of heat or electricity. Dams were built for the generation of electricity. Psychoanalysis. The fifth sexual and social stage in a person's development occurring during adolescence. Interest focuses on sexual activity. Psychoanalysis. The fifth sexual and social stage in a person's development occurring during adolescence. Interest focuses on sexual activity. Sitting on eggs so as to hatch them by the warmth of the body. Maintaining something at the most favorable temperature for its development. Pathology. The phase in the development of an infection between the time a pathogen enters the body and the time the first symptoms appear. Psychoanalysis. The fourth period, from about age 5 or 6 until puberty, during which sexual interests are supposed to be sublimated into other activities. Psychoanalysis. The fourth period, from about age 5 or 6 until puberty, during which sexual interests are supposed to be sublimated into other activities. Psychoanalysis. The fourth period, from about age 5 or 6 until puberty, during which sexual interests are supposed to be sublimated into other activities. The first stage of the prophase of meiosis.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.